Hello and welcome back. I'm excited and a little bit nervous about this video. I've done a number of videos on ketones in the past, specifically why I use DeltaG ketones, how they work, so on and so forth. But I do get asked a lot about how beyond the videos that I've done, I get asked a lot about how the different companies out there compare, and there are a number of different types, or there are a number of different ketone products on the market, and a lot of them use different ketone type. And so I wanted to do a video that kind of showed how not all ketones are made the same, and the actual type of ketone is actually quite important in the way that it interacts within the body, and how it can lead to all the benefits that we've talked about in the past. The three types of ketone that I used was a raw ketone ester, which obviously that's going to be DeltaG. The ketone ester is BHB and BDO. The second product is HVMN, which is primarily BDO. And then the third product that I use was a ketone salt, and it's really just a bulk supplement ketone salt. There is a fourth type, an MCO oil, but it's technically not even a ketone. It's a free fatty acid, and the results behind that, especially on the performance standpoint, are pretty much non-existent. So I didn't waste my time testing it because I felt that I knew what the result was going to be anyways. So first we'll talk about the way that I went through the morning of the fasted test. The goal for taking the ketones in the morning is to get your BHB level in the 1 to 2.0, 1.0 to 2.0 millimole range. And the reason for that is that's where research suggests that the cognitive benefits and all the additional non-performance benefits that I've talked about in the past, that's the range that we can occur. The way that I went about this is I took one serving of each of the one of the DeltaG Coffee Boost, one full serving of HVMN, and then one full serving of the ketone salt. It's important to point out here that the serving sizes are a little bit different, and one serving of the DeltaG Coffee Boost was 5 grams, whereas HVMN is 10 grams. They don't have a specific product for coffee, nor does the ketone salt that I took, but I just tried to keep it to one serving across the board. The ketone salt that I took was 10 grams as well, so over double of the amount of ketones that the teaspoon of Coffee Boost from DeltaG has. But what I found out, and what's kind of been consistent in other people's findings as well, is that when I took just a teaspoon mixed with coffee while fasted, my average increase in the BHB in the blood went up from either 0, or sometimes the Keto Mojo that I was using read low, so that means it wasn't picking up anything at all, to 0.2 as a starting point. That was pretty uniform across the board. I did also take blood sugar readings to show that I stayed fasted for the entire time, and so the blood sugar was all pretty well within range for a fasted wake up. And I did 3 tests with each. And so the average increase in the DeltaG was 1.2 millimoles. The average increase with HVMN was 0.6 millimoles. And the average increase with the ketone salt was 0.2. So pretty negligible. So despite the fact that the other two had over 2 times the amount of ketone that is in DeltaG, because of the type of ketone that DeltaG has, the exogenous ketone, it actually was more effective, and it raised the bar even more. So HVMN did raise the ketone levels. I would have just needed to take quite a bit more to get the same benefit. And like I said before, when we're looking for cognitive benefits, we're looking to get into that 1 to 2.0 range. And the DeltaG Coffee Boost was the only one of the 3 products that I tested that actually did that. As a side note, I did do one test with the new DeltaG Coffee Espresso Shot, and that brought me into that. I believe that one is 5.4 grams, so a little bit more, and it brought me, it moved me up 1.4, so right in line with the Coffee Boost. When it comes to the exercise side of things, I did things a little bit differently. First of all, I couldn't do 3 trials independently. There wasn't enough weeks in order to put that together. So I only did 1 of each, and you can attack me on that if you want. But I did 1 session with each. I took the DeltaG Performance, which is 25 grams of the ketone ester. So I tried to keep things similar. So I did take 25 grams of, or 2.5 servings of the HVMN all at once, and then did the same with the ketone salt. And again, the results were pretty similar. What I did was went through an hour warm up, and then I took the full dose of the ketones at the beginning of my interval, and then I made sure I had a 30-minute interval at Ironman race pace for me. So I took the a blood test right at the beginning, and at 15 minutes and at 30 minutes, just to see what was going on. And when I took the ketone salt, again, it didn't much move the needle. Even at 2.5 times, the highest number that I saw at 15 minutes was 0.6. So it didn't even get into the cognitive benefit range, little less the performance benefit. Remember, from a performance standpoint, performance ketosis is defined as 2 to 3.5 millimoles, and that's where we start to see the increased ability to help resynthesize that ATP that I talked about a little bit earlier. When I took the 2.5 servings of HVMN, I got a little bit closer. I got up to 1.8 at the 15-minute mark, and then I decayed at about the same rate as I did. So I was down at the 1.0 range at the 30-minute mark. With the DeltaG, again, 25 grams, keeping everything all consistent, I was able to get the, at the 15-minute mark, I was at 2.6, and at the 30-minute mark, I was 1.9. So right at the bottom of that range, which is pretty consistent with the testing that I've done in the past. A lot of times you'll see the ketone companies put out charts in how they'll compare the cost per gram of ketone or the cost per serving or things like that. Obviously, that's part of their marketing strategy, but they're kind of relying on the fact that people don't understand that there's a difference between ketones, and not all ketones are made the same. And clearly, I found myself that the raw ketone ester was far superior in terms of getting me into the desired locations than the other 2 products that I tested. Again, this is an N+1 study, but there's been a number of different people that have done very similar, and there's even been a published study that found very similar results as well. So yeah, you don't have to take my word for it. You can test this all out for yourself. Keto Mojo is not too expensive. You can get that off of Amazon for relatively cheap, and buy a couple servings of each and give it a try. I'm pretty confident you'll have very similar results to what I did. I will say that the other 2 products that I tested did taste a little bit better. So if that's the primary objective, then maybe DeltaG isn't the route to go. But for me, with having clear goals in mind for what I'm taking this product for, it was pretty obvious why the product that I'm using is the product that I'm using. That's all I have for you this time. I hope this was a little bit helpful. Please leave any questions or comments in the section below. Hit the subscribe button on your way out, and we'll see you next time.